What's up? What's up? What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Uncle Fred back in the house. One more again, giving you good content, NFL news, Cowboy Nation news, and just having just little conversations, just trying to keep your day going. Go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe button. Leave comments, suggestions, and things you think we should be doing and better, or you don't like my analysis. Think of another way things could be done or said or whatever the case might be. We open, to suggestion. So go ahead and hit that like button and hit the subscribe button, and let's get this thing going. The first thing we always gonna talk about Cowboy news. Which the Cowboy news is always on top because Cowboys is on top. All right, that's the way I'm feeling, and I always bleed blue and silver. All right. So first thing, the news of the week been Jalen Smith released 2 days ago on the 5th. Got picked up by the Packers, and we was learned today that the Packers are going to sign him to a 1-year deal, which we pretty much already knew that it was going to be a 1-year deal, a prove it deal to see if he what he got in the tank, and see if he adapts to their defense, or their defensive philosophy and things of that nature. They do have a couple of guys out. As a guy that was out for concussion, and of course Zadarius Smith is out sort of indefinitely with a back. And so they got some guys out. So, but it was reported that he would not play this week against Cincinnati. So, he's coming in week 5 and he don't know the defensive assignments or any of that kind of stuff. So that makes sense that he wouldn't start right away or wouldn't play right away. He's got to get up to speed. So anyway, so he signed to a 1-year deal, and probably going to be for probably league minimum. I think a league minimum for a guy, his veteran minimum for his service, I think it's at least $1 million a year. So if they sign him for $1 million a year and we owed him 7.2, we'd be liable for the 6.2, and they pay the $1 million. So that's the way that thing kind of works. So, and we also understood and figured out that the Packers did want Jalen, and it went beyond just speaking with Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. The only thing was that they did want him, but they weren't going to be able to afford him because they only had $6 million of cap room, and they also wanted Gilmore too. Okay. I'm talking about two different things here. So, but anyhow, so they signed him they're going to probably give him a league minimum there. They wanted Gilmore. That's what I was going to tell you. The Packers also wanted Gilmore. That's kind of lost my train of thought there. They wanted Gilmore, but they didn't have enough salary cap money because that was going to be a trade. So they didn't have enough cap money to pay him. So they ended up getting Jalen as sort of like a secondary thing. So, so they ended up getting Jalen Smith, and so we'll see how that goes, and whatever. So other news, Bradley Anai and Keanu Neal were back at practice today. So that's good. Bradley Anai, those may not know, he drafted him back in 2020, I think in the 4th round. Don't quote me on that, but it was one of the later rounds, maybe the 5th round from, I think, Utah. He is a linebacker / edge rusher. And so, he'll provide depth and whatever. And I'm sure he'll play some special teams and some other things. And then, of course, Keanu Neal is back at practice today. So that's good. Some injury notes from the game Sunday. Ezekiel Elliott suffered a sore knee. So they kind of took it easy on him in practice and treated it and did some things like that. No sprains or no strains or nothing like that. Nothing torn, none of that stuff, knock on wood. But he did have a sore knee, and so they kind of took it easy on him in practice. And also, Amari Cooper is nursing a sore hamstring. And if you watched the game, you saw, he would go in for a couple of plays and sit out for a couple of plays while they were working on his hamstring. And they was working on his hamstring late in the first half and early in the first half and on different plays. And then he came back in the third quarter and caught a 35-yard touchdown pass. So, he can work with the pain. So he gonna be all right. They both playing Sunday. So when we played them Giants. So and no word on Donovan Wilson as of yet. But it's believed that he will be back, if not next week against the Patriots, then possibly the following week against the Minnesota Vikings. So Donovan Wilson will be a nice added luxury to add to our safety our safety pool. So the defense that Dan Quinn runs, we're kind of running what they call a 4-2 4-2-5, and it's like a big dime or big nickel. We run that a lot of times, and so how that works is you have to have a lot of interchangeable linebackers / safeties, which I call hybrids. And so Keanu Neal, KZ, Donovan Wilson, Jaron Kearse, all of these guys are what I call hybrid safety linebackers. Okay, they are, fast enough to play in the secondary, but not as a primary position. But they're big enough to fill in on run support. And what's interesting, and I know we're gonna get to the rest of the news, what we like to do with that, what Quinn likes to do with that, is that keeps the offensive coordinators guessing as to what we're doing, because you got guys in the secondary or at the linebacker position that could drop back in coverage, or they could be coming on run support, or they could be blitzing. You don't know which way they're coming. So that just makes, if you're a good defensive coordinator, you got what I like to call interchangeable parts like that. That makes it hard on the offense to be able to figure out what you're doing, which way you're coming, who's not, who's in coverage, who's in the box, and that sort of thing. And I'm just excited about what our defense is doing. And I know I'm sidebarring right now, but I'm just excited about where our defense is going and what we're doing, and seeing it kind of come together, and seeing these new guys come in with all that enthusiasm and these new defensive ideas that Quinn is bringing and all. It's just fun. It's just good to see, because I remember last year when our defense was atrocious and it was an embarrassment. And so anyhow, moving on from that, but that's all I have on Cowboy news. Other news coming around the NFL. This is some bad news from the rest of the NFL. Christian McCaffrey, the superstar he's a wide receiver, running back / wide receiver / whatever you want to plug him in for the Carolina Panthers, says he should be ready to go Sunday versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Sucks to be the Eagles because they're a different team with him. So he's planning on being back. So we look for that, and I got the Panthers picked. So hey, we'll see how that goes. So anyway, one thing I thought was interesting this week, and the reason I thought it was interesting is because it's a division rival. So whatever, but it's kind of been kept under wraps too. But I mean, if you Google it, you can find it. But Washington football team's facility was raided Friday by the DEA. Okay, I don't know if y'all knew that or not. There's a dude that's the trainer for them. Vermillion is his last name. He has been, and it's as part of an investigation for distributing prescription drugs. Now he's a trainer. All right. Now, and if you got to be a doctor or an RN and have those credentials in order to distribute, prescription drugs or to prescribe drugs. And so apparently this was part of a 2014 sting operations that the NFL was doing, or well, the Drug Enforcement Agency was doing. I'm sure they did it with the cooperation of the NFL. I'm sure they, cooperated with them, and also the Transportation Safety Administration, TSA. They were trying to check like visiting teams, medical staffs when they came and left, when they left the airport, see if they had, so apparently they got wind of this kind of operation going on. It was maybe, through from a bunch of teams. So maybe this guy Vermillion came to their, awareness. And so Friday they raided the place, and Coach Ron Rivera wasn't there, so they informed him of what was going on and told him to stay away. There were some players that was at the facility. They were, asked to leave until they conducted their search and things of that nature. And so, incidentally, Vermillion has been with Ron Rivera for 9 years, since he was at Carolina. He goes back, some years with him. So, I don't know what that's about, but I'm not crying a river for the Washington football team. I'll tell you that right now. But yeah. But anyway, so yeah, that's what's going on with them. And so Vermillion was suspended indefinitely. And so some people on the medical staff, and they pulled in an older guy that used to be a trainer with the Washington football team up to 2009, rather. And he's gonna help out until they hire somebody, get rid of this guy and finally, or whatever they're gonna do with that. But that's just interesting that's going on, and I wouldn't be surprised if things like that were going on on other teams and stuff. Hopefully, knocking on wood, ain't going on with our team, but hey man, I ain't crying no river for the Washington football team. So, and other news. And is that this is kind of on a humorous note. You remember how old Uncle Fred was talking about the game Sunday over across the pond in London with the New York Jets and the Atlanta Falcons, and I was saying how why do we send our trash? I hate to call another team trash, but some of our lesser teams to across the pond if we want to grow our game globally. Why would you want to send your and nobody wants to go to that, because it's well, apparently superstar wide receiver Calvin Ridley don't want to go either. So it was reported that he will not travel with the team for this event for personal reasons. All right. And we all know Calvin Ridley is a star for the University of Alabama, Roll Tide. And he's the leading receiver for the Atlanta Falcons. I think he's got like 27 catches and maybe one touchdown this year. He and Russell Gage, the other starting wide receiver, will both miss the game. So the wide receiver duties for the Atlanta Falcons in this game, which shows you we sending our bottom of the barrel wide receivers. Starting wide receivers for the Atlanta Falcons will be Olamide Zaccheaus and Tajay Sharp. Those will be your starting wide receivers. Okay, Tajay Sharp's actually not bad. He actually played for the Titans back in. He got drafted by the Titans. I want to say like 16 or 17. Actually had some promise. So he's actually not bad, but he's just not a household name. But just showing you that, nobody wants to go to across the pond and eat tea and crumpets. Nobody's wanting to go over there. And of course now, won't they send Kansas City and Buffalo? Why don't they send that game over there? Or Cleveland and the Chargers. Why couldn't that game be sent over there? So you can see, but neither here nor there. But that's all the news I have today in terms of NFL news and stuff. So now I do want to kind of hit on the Thursday night football game, which was I usually do do that at the end of my of the week in the recap. But There's a couple things in this game that I thought was worthy of repeating, worthy of jumping on right from the get-go. But the game was the Los Angeles Rams flying up to, I used to think it was Quest Field, but I think it's a different naming rights now. But the 12th man in Seattle, they flew up there to take on Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks. And it was an interesting game, a little slow starting. Both guys threw picks early. In fact, Matthew Stafford had him in field goal range in the first quarter, and it was trying to throw the ball away and threw it to the back of the end zone, and the announcer said, "Intercepted by Diggs," and I got excited. And I'm like, "Wait a minute, that's not our Diggs, that's their Diggs. That's Quandre Diggs. They're not related. They're not related. I did my research. They're not related. But he is related to Stephon Diggs that played for the Bills. Now, you do know that. Trayvon is related to Stephon Diggs who played for the Bills. He's not related to Quandre Diggs that plays for the Seahawks and then used to play for the Detroit Lions. Okay. Yeah. He's a safety for them. But they said, intercepted by Diggs, and I got giddy. I'm like, wait, whoa, that's Quandre Diggs. That ain't Trayvon Diggs. Okay. All right. That'd be all right. But it was a little tough sledding at first. The Seahawks got a touchdown early to Metcalf. It was a battle between Metcalf and Jalen Ramsey. Man, there was some physical going on with them two, and he got the best of him on that route, and he got a touchdown. And he caught a couple of passes on him. One play of note, though, my man Deshaun Jackson. He good for one big one a game. I think in the second quarter he caught a 68-yard, not a touchdown, but he caught it in the middle of the field and ran to the side and ran out of gas. It was a 68-yard game. It was his only catch of the game too, and so that was Deshaun's good for that. He still can get behind people at his age, which is amazing to me. But this game had two things in it, and incidentally, the Rams won 26-17. So your boy Uncle Fred is 1-0. I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. 1-0. We got off to a good start already, but I'm digressing. Two things I thought I'd never see. And like I tell you all the time, that's why I love the NFL, man. I love the NFL because it's such a good game. It's a great game. It's a teamwork game. It's not an individual game. And I like how it got, you playing for the next guy, and the next guy's playing for the next guy, and the next guy's playing for the next guy. And it's like, we work together to get the job done. It's the most team-oriented, spectator sport that I know of. And I know basketball is kind of sort of, but basketball can be a one-on-one. One guy get the ball and everybody else get out the way, and you can kind of do some stuff. Baseball is like an individual sport. One guy at the plate and the pitcher, and it's you and him. Football is if the guy don't block, the guy can't make passes. The guys up front don't block, the running back can't run, and all these sorts of things. Then the other side has to play defense so the offense can get the ball back. It's a total team game. That's why I like the NFL. But what I also have said about the NFL is that it seems like every week you see something that you haven't seen before. And I've been watching the NFL 40 years. Now, I don't want to tell my age, but I've been watching the NFL since the 70s, okay? All right? Uncle Fred been around a minute, all right? Now, I'll just be honest. I ain't ashamed of it. Ain't ashamed of it at all. With that time comes wisdom, young bucks. All right? Thought I'd never see this. One thing I never thought I'd see a game where two quarterbacks ended up with dislocated fingers in the game. Okay. Sometime in the second quarter, I believe Matthew Stafford either got his finger caught in somebody's jersey or something, and we went to the sideline. He's right-handed. The finger was over here. The index finger was over there. Okay. And they just pushed it back in place and taped it up and treated it on the sideline when they were on defense and kept it warm and what have you, and then that sort of thing. But then later in the same game, Russell Wilson hit his hand on the helmet of Aaron Donald and sprained his middle finger. I don't want to show you that one because I can't show you that middle. I can't show you that finger. But he so he had to come out the game. He threw a couple of passes later and had to come out the game. And enter Geno Smith. Yeah, that Geno Smith. Hey, y'all get off of Geno Smith. I know he was kind of back in the day when they drafted him back in 12, 13 for the Jets, whatever, but he played. But this is significant for Russell Wilson because it's unknown whether he'll miss next week's game because obviously if it's your throwing hand and if it's sprained bad and you can't throw, you can't play. Now, why that's significant is Russell Wilson in his 10-year career has not missed a start, okay? And he's got 149 consecutive starts. And so I went and did the math. I'm like, 149? Is that right? He played, now they say he's in his 10th year, but he's only played 9 in 5 games this year. So you take 9 times 16, that's 144. Then you add 5 games this season, that's 149. Yeah, I was pretty good at math. So 149 consecutive games. So there's a chance he might not play next week. So that was significant. But yeah, both quarterbacks ended up with dislocated fingers in the same game. Yeah, I've never seen that. And then the big thing I thought I'd never seen, I want y'all to go back and Google this because it was crazy. The officials got it wrong, almost cost the Rams, field position, and maybe it could have cost them the game because it was wrong. It was wrong. It's wrong as 2 shoes for the same foot. All right. So my folks used to tell me that's wrong as 2 shoes for the same foot. I think it was either late third or early fourth quarter. The Seahawks with their own 20-yard line was 4th and 14. So they went to punt. Okay. So the punter went back to punt, and the gunner for the Rams came right off the edge unblocked and almost had to wait to block the punt because the guy, he was there so quick that the guy hadn't punted the ball yet. That's how quick he was on top of him. And he tried to punt it, and it got blocked. The punt got blocked and was spinning around on the ground for what looked to be like 20 seconds. And I'm thinking to myself, ain't no Rams gonna go get that. That's a free ball. That's a touchdown if you can get it. And it just spun around. So the punter is looking and said, "Oh no, you don't want that. I'm gonna go get it." So he picks the punt up and runs with it, and then stops and punts it. I ain't never seen a punter punt the ball twice. All my years watching the NFL, never seen a guy punt the ball twice. And so Dean Serator, who's on the sideline, you got Troy Aikman and you got Buck. They were saying something's got to be wrong with that. You can't punt the ball twice. Just like if you get a field goal blocked, you can't block it twice. You can't pass it twice. Once you throw it, you can't throw it again forward, So Dean Salvatore said, well, they changed it. You kind of can do that. But Troy Aikman was challenging him and said, yeah, but you can't punt it past the line of scrimmage. And if you look at the tape, the line of scrimmage was like just behind the 20-yard line, like maybe the 19.5-yard line, okay? And when the ball got punted and it was spinning on the ground, he ran and picked it up and tried to run with it and realized he wasn't going to get nowhere and went to like the 21-yard line and punted it. So that should have been like an illegal forward pass, illegal. I don't know what the sign is for, illegal kick. But that's what that should have been. But they didn't call nothing. And then what was funny, he got off a heck of a kick. It was like a 68-yard kick. And it went down to like the 8-yard line of the Rams. And so they started the game at that drive in their own territory. And I'm like, and they didn't really call anything. And so I'm like, man, they got hosed on that one because that should have been, that should have been elite. They should have, maybe penalized them, maybe 15 yards, and made them I wouldn't make them re-kick it, but something should have been done with that. But I've never seen in all my years watching the NFL, seen a punter punt the ball twice on the same kick. Never seen that. Never, ever, ever, ever seen that in my life. So like I always tell you, NFL never disappoints. You always see something noteworthy, something you like, man, did you see that play? So just thought I'd share that with you. That's all I got today. Not a whole lot going on other than that. I will be back with you guys on Saturday to do my preview for the Giants and the Cowboys game. And I also got to do a preview for my Alabama fans and stuff. So I'm gonna do some previews in the game. But the college season still kind of getting ramped up. So I'm gonna get to that and get some previews and reactions for my Alabama Roll Tide fans that are out there, because I roll with that too. So I'm gonna get that going, and then eventually we're gonna get into the other college football teams, and when it gets down to the Final Four and that sort of thing, and our projections and things of that nature. But that's all I got for today. Look forward to seeing you guys on Saturday for our preview, Cowboys and Giants. But tune in, like, subscribe, comment. We just trying to do some things, give you some content, keep you entertained, and inform you at the same time. And the same information you get from these bigger channels, I'm giving you that same information, but I also can give you a story too. All right. That's all I got. Uncle Fred signing off. See you.